Everybody, Pastor Jeff Knight here of the Rock Church, where we rescue people and the purpose of their lives. Welcome to episode 10, conflict resolution. We're going to be talking all things conflict because why? Well, learning to manage and disarm conflict is necessary if we are going to be successful in the 21st century. So we're going to call this episode Working Our Best Together, Handling Conflict. Welcome to the introduction, but the truth is this: success in life, business, school, marriage, volunteer organizations, nonprofits, for-profits, teams, sports teams, fun teams, people, church, whatever. Success in life and all these different environments, it's all determined in part by your ability to deal with conflict. So that's what we're going to talk about over the next little bit. Let's dive right in. I'll give you the intro to what we're doing here. So it's going to be 6 modules. Introduction to episode 10, conflict resolution. Look at you already knocking one down because here you are, right here, right now. You already got a win. The second module will cover fundamentals of conflict. The third module, what skills must you build to resolve conflict? Listen, you're going to have to build some skills. Number 4, we'll get into some myths about conflict. There are a few of them. Then we're going to talk about the 3 stages of conflict because just if conflict isn't addressed, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and thicker and thicker and thicker. And then we'll wrap it up with module 6 on some step-by-step resolutions. Look, full disclosure, I go back 2002. I was the leader of this growing, thriving organization. It was a long time ago, but it just seemed like I was in conflict all the time, whether it was volunteers in conflict with each other or staff members having a conflict or interns having a conflict or people having a conflict with me because of something maybe I said or the way I made them feel when I said something, my personality. I just discovered that, listen, life is full of conflict. And so I went out, I found this book way back then called How to Manage Conflict by Peg Pickering. I'm grateful that she wrote the book. It gave me some solid foundation to launch from. Some of the content I'll be sharing through all our modules here comes from that book. And a lot of it, though, it comes from a lot of years of experience, a couple decades of experience leading and resolving and managing and disarming conflict. So let's dive right in, shall we? This is what Peg said. Peg said, behavior not confronted will not change. So if there's something going on in your world or on your team and it's conflictive and you don't like it, listen, you're the one. You cannot, if you don't work on my team, you cannot pass the conflict buck up to my desk all the time. You can't say, Pastor, now I'll come in and help you. I'll come in and listen. I'll come in and put a plan together. But you got to learn to confront behavior that isn't conducive or the culture or a part of how we do things around here. You got to begin to get good at disarming and resolving conflict. Because here's the truth. There's a lot of potential positive outcomes when you make the choice to engage and not pass it off and not ignore it and not just pretend that it doesn't exist. But there's some positive outcomes if we approach conflict properly and if we approach it with care and we think it through. One of those is people that resolve conflict well, they have an increased desire to solve problems. Why? Because challenges are met with a positive influence rather than the negative, soul-sucking catastrophes that unresolved conflict can become. There's also an increased motivation on a team when conflict is managed well to succeed because people feel supported when they have concerns or issues or whatever, and they have a leader that's like, hey, man, we'll work on that. They feel supported. There's increased trustworthiness for results. There's increased relationships. Why? Because good communication builds trust. Come on, somebody. There's increased risk-taking for achievement. I've learned over the years, when you build a culture that resolves conflict well, people will take risks again and they'll do things even better and even more powerful. How many know that failure is not final, right? Failure is not final and it's not fatal. And so good conflict resolution skills, disarming that stuff, it gives people the sense, the idea, it gives them the incentive to try again, because they realize if they make a mistake, it isn't gonna be the end of things. Now, I guess you could choose to just ignore all the conflict in your world, but the truth is, if you do it, the inverse of all of what I just said will happen. You'll have decreased desire to succeed, decreased desire to interact with it's not fun to be around conflict. Nobody likes to be around conflict. Have you ever been in conflict with somebody and you're like walking down a hallway and here they come and you just want to like cringe and just get small and not like look them and turn around and go the other way and avoid them at all possible? Listen, it takes morale away from teams. It causes everybody to play the victim card. Oh, he said, she said. Lists start getting made. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times people that don't like conflict and are not good at dealing with it have walked up and handed me a list on somebody else. Look, in the time it took you to make that list, you could have sat down and had a conversation and fixed all this stuff. Anyway, decreased ability to make decisions. Listen, there's a lot of negative outcomes if we don't get good at resolving conflict. So let's dive in. This is the end of the intro. This is the end of the intro to episode 10, conflict resolution. We'll dive in. Just go ahead and click right on over to module 2, because we're going to get into the fundamentals of conflict. Right on. Okay, see you in module 2.